What's happening, chats? Welcome to our latest episode of Chaps Chat with me, Dom.
Mate, Ollie.
And today we've got one of our good mates, Flav, with us. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad in yourself.
Yeah.
You, Ollie?
All good, mate. All good.
Yeah,
Glad to have you on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what we're going to speak about today is going to be quite an interesting one. Within Chaps Chat, we spoke about, I guess, some of the most severe issues when it comes to mental health and, I guess, the more heavy end of that spectrum. And it's easy to, I guess, forget about the fact that there's everyday things in life that everyone's experiences that can sometimes cause mental health issues, even if that's not long term, or just cause, I guess, general stresses in life. So yeah, just to speak about some of, I guess, the more challenging things you've experienced in life that other people can resonate in terms of their day to day life.
Yeah.
So I know recently you had to move house or move house. Yeah.
So actually, I had to. So last year when towards the end of towards Christmas time, anyways. Dad was moving back to Portugal, so obviously just off the back of that I was already stressing out, living on my own sort of thing, didn't know what was going to happen. And then I was thinking I was going to stay in the same house that I've been living there for 15 years, do you know what I mean? Long time. And the fella just decided that what he told me was that he wanted to sell the house. So he gave me 2 months notice, which by law that's what they got to do. And I said, all right, not knowing how these things work, because I've never had to be in that situation before. He gave me the 2 months, started looking around. Being so close to Christmas, it was proper difficult to find someone.
Yeah, it's not what you need at that time of year as well, isn't it?
Especially New Year's, obviously Christmas with my little one, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Do you know what I mean? And you start getting closer to the time, and still nothing. We kept in touch all the time, speaking. Have you found somewhere? I was like, no, not yet. Then closer to the time, I must have messaged him, so I had to leave by the 30th of December, which is not ideal. Do you know what I mean? Just before New Year's as well. So I was speaking
3-4 days after Christmas.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, look, can you give me some more time? I still haven't found anywhere. It was like, oh, we'll keep in touch towards the end of the week. We'll speak again. I'm like, okay. Got to the end of the week. Obviously, you got those 2 weeks between Christmas where nothing is really happening. No one's in stages.
A couple of parties going on and that.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. No one's really working, so it made it really difficult. Stressing out. I actually start moving stuff from the house, thinking I have to leave, sort of thing, and not opening up to people. And that's what I learned with do you know what? Opening up to people a lot of times helps, because I was kind of in my own bubble and not talking to anyone about it. And he turned up to the house, man. He turned up to the house. Obviously, when we was going on holiday, he had a spare key that he would come over to check the house. Everyone, no one broken in and stuff like that. And then I think it was because I spoke to him, I was like, look, let me at least stay till after New Year's. Let me have somewhere where I can stay, do you know what I mean, until New Year's. 3rd of January, I think it was a bank holiday, but with all the stress and not, my job as well, around that sort of time is really quiet. So I'm not leaving the house, I'm staying in the house, not talking to people. I was kind of drinking myself to sleep, to be honest, just to get, do you know what I mean, put my mind off it. And I went to work on that Monday, I thought, fuck it, I was like, I'm gonna go to work, do something just to get my mind off things. Went to work, and around 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the 3rd or 4th of January. I know it was that Monday after the New Year's. He calls me. He's like, where are you? I'm like, what?
Yeah. Bank holiday as well.
Yeah, bank
Jobs
holiday.
worth. Do you know what I mean?
I was like,
take a chill pill, mate.
Have a day off, mate.
He's my landlord. He's not my fucking dad. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? What have we got to do with what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm at the house. You need to come get your stuff and leave. And I'm like, what? And bear in mind, at this time, I already had moved a lot of stuff out of the house into a client of mine. He's got these stables that he uses for storage sort of thing. And instead of me paying, because like I said, I didn't know what to do. I must have, I was like, look, I'll be at the house in 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. Got to the house thinking he's going to be outside, waiting for me to talk to me. Didn't see anyone outside, and I thought I must have got tired of waiting and left. Going to the door to make myself a coffee. He's inside the house, man. And he's proper, trying to intimidate me, telling me I have to leave. I'm like, whoa, and all of that. And then that's when I, start reaching out to people. Look, what should I do, man? I was sleeping on the like not on the floor. I left like a mattress because I moved everything, and left a mattress and a TV so I can obviously sleep and
chill a bit.
Yeah,
Innit?
do you know what I mean? And I spoke to one of my friends, and he's like, "What? You moved all your? Are you mad? Like, this is not how it works. Like, they can't just kick you out. Like, you got to have somewhere to go. Like, it's by law, he can't even be doing that. He shouldn't even been in the house.
Yeah.
Like, without your consent. Like, that's
It's illegal, isn't it?
It's illegal. Do you know what I mean?
It's still your.
It's your house.
Yeah, it's still my house.
Yeah,
and
still
bear in
your
mind,
house.
15 years is not like the geezer only known me for a couple of years. Do you know what I mean?
Madness,
I know,
mate. Mate, that could have turned to.
Bro,
to
it was
tears
really
very quickly.
yeah.
Bro. Like that's a very hostile situation.
Very,
innit?
And I was on my own here because it's like obviously I'm from Portugal and like my parents, like my dad was already moved back, so he was already there. Mum had gone to Portugal as well for Christmas. I didn't go because I wanted to spend Christmas with the little one, and with all that situation where I needed to find somewhere, it wasn't like
The right time to go and leave
yeah,
that.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that happened, and I was in a very dark place, man. Like really dark place where it was unconsciously I was just going to drink. I was just drinking because it's just made it that easier for me to forget about the situation I was in. And man, like it was really dark, not having anyone to talk to. And then when I start opening up, sort of thing, and you know what I mean, that's when things start getting easier. Like my friend was like, "Look, go get some legal advice if you don't believe what I'm telling you. Like this is not how it works." So yeah, man, that time was really, really tough for me. Like not knowing like where you stand, sort of thing. And then when I started finding out information, talking to people, and finding out he needs to give you 2 months. But the thing is, the way he gave me the 2 months, he gave me a letter where you just, you know, when you print screen something on your phone and you print it out, so it's all like it's not proper sort of thing. That's what he done, and like he has to go to court to kick you out and stuff like that. But like it could have been so avoided, and the way he dealt with it was, you know, it wasn't the right way, and it made me feel like I wasn't worth anything. The way he handled things, like
I think 15 years of living there, especially, you know, when you're paying someone,
Dough in his pocket, bro.
Dough in his pocket. 15 years is a long time, yeah. If that was me in that situation and I knew that that's what I wanted to do to sell the house, then
thing is,
at least 6 months for someone who's been there 15 years. Like, you know that you're going to do that eventually, right? Because it might have been in his plan, whatever, or his money's running low, or he needs more money. For 15 years, mate, like...
It's like no compassion at all.
Nothing.
Do you know what I mean? And then I can just say from like, obviously just being good pals with Flav, and just like the perspective I saw from him speaking to me, like obviously a bit later on, like people always change their tune, let's say, right? And it's like when the ball's not in their court, then things get different. But just the fact in any circumstance, I think like for someone to treat you like that, and obviously he's aware of the fact that you got a little one as well. Do you know what I mean? Man. Stuff like that. Like this guy's obviously got. I'm guessing he's older, but he's from what you said, he's got his own kids as well. So to try and chuck someone out like just after Christmas as well, mate, it just shows you a lot of circumstances. Well, most circumstances, people are just looking out for themselves, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's a bigger problem in the country on a wider basis because, like, I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say it must be more than 50% of people that rent their houses, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
Probably
but
more.
I feel like there's a lot of scenarios that go on like that where people are getting pressured, they're not getting treated right because maybe they don't know the rules in a lot of sense. Like I've lived in rented houses my whole life. I didn't know what. Before you told me that before, I didn't know that, like the rules around it. Obviously, I hadn't had to look into it at any point, but still, it's a bit of it's not a great situation. I mean, like I think like the amount of people who are renting are just getting higher. So are there more laws in place for landlords? I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
well, there's more laws to actually back the tenant in a way. Well, there's laws to protect both parties, right? So, but the way that the way it works really is like they give you the 2 months. You can't find anywhere else. They really and truly, if they really want things to speed up to go like quickly, they need to go to court and get like I can't remember now what it's called, but it's
an
like
eviction notice.
It's something like that, yeah, and which gives you another 2 months for you to find elsewhere. If you still don't find elsewhere after those 2 months, he needs to go back to court. Which bear in mind, this is gonna cost the landlord a lot of money.
Yeah, for
like time and
shit,
all of that. Do you know what I mean? So what he tried to do and the way he tried to he actually turned around to me. I was saying to him, I was like, look, mate, what do you expect me to do? Do you expect me to get my kid and go live in the street? Like that's not gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? I was like, what do you expect from me? I was like, give me more time. Like, it's January. Things are starting to go back to normal. Give me more time, I'm sure. And I end up actually finding somewhere probably like a month and a bit later. Do you know what I mean? But when he backed off when I spoke to people and got information about, I'd messaged them. I was like, look, if you come in the house again, I'll call the police. Like, you're trespassing, like, without my consent. Even though it's his house, but legally it's mine because I'm paying to live there. Do you know what I mean? And he backed off from there. Didn't hear from him again. But it was just really, really shitty time, to be honest.
That time as well, man. The 30th of December.
Yeah.
Even that would be like, I just want to say fuck off, mate. I'll be honest with you, man, innit? 3rd of Jan and that. Where are you? I'm in the house.
After 15 years, bruv, as well. Man. That's mad. That, like, 15 years is a long time, bruv. Like, what I could say, like, my last place that I was living at, right? Like, they had something similar in the... They had plans with the house somewhere down the line. They didn't know exactly where that was going to be, but the guy was telling us for years. That's eventually that's the plan. Like, he wants to give it to whatever, and like, obviously you appreciate getting a heads up, and that weren't even concrete. So to just kind of spring that on people at one time, like, you play with people's lives. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, rather, it's just like, obviously, I mean, it worked out obviously okay in the end, which is a good thing. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, you just have to be wary, I think, sometimes, because from knowing you, like, there wouldn't have been, I guess, as far as I know, any indications that you might have acted like that before you started doing it. So you just never know with people, really, mate, I think.
Money as well, mate, innit? Like, you know what I mean? It's all money, man. They snatch your hand for it, boy. And when they think, do you know what, Cole, I need to sell up now and do whatever, or whatever their plans are, it's like, fuck you.
I found out he didn't even sell the house. He went and rented it out for a lot more money that, obviously, but, like, he could have, if that's what he wanted, more money for the rent, he could have came to me and spoke about it.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
you think you at least get that? Like, wouldn't that be less hassle for him as well? Like, if the person who's in there already is willing to pay that higher rate, then do you know what I mean? But you got to ask the question, bro.
I feel like maybe he, obviously me being young, right, and then obviously I was there with my parents, and then obviously the parents got split up, or whether it was just me and my dad in the end, and by my dad moving back, and he was aware of that. I've told him that was going to happen, and I don't know, maybe he just thought that I wasn't going to be able to, I don't know, but it was like he could have had a conversation with me, not, you know, you need to leave now, and that's not how it works, do you know what I mean? Like, because if I was the landlord, and if I wanted you out, you know, I'm pretty sure he knows how the market is right now. Like, it's not easy to find like places that is suitable, like budget, and you like, if I need a 3-bedroom house, basically. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not easy to find something quick that meets your needs and is within your budget as well. So, you know, the way he handled things is just...
Yeah, terrible, mate, terrible. Just have a conversation, man. Even if you are concerned about the money side of things, like, Cole, you know the family, they've been in your house for 15 years, paying you money for it. Like, you can ask for proof of earnings, things like that.
Exactly.
It's not a problem, innit? But to do that, 2 months' notice, bang out of order, mate. So, do you know what? I'll be honest, whoever he is, mate, fuck him.
Trust.
Do you know what? That was more directed at you there, to be honest with you. I'll give you 2, there you go.
Hashtag
me, I promise.
But I think, like, what I'm thinking now, mate, is like, people don't think... He's not probably thought behind that, and like, how he's aware of how it affects someone in the sense of, like, you potentially have nowhere to live. So the fact that he's just kind of brushing over that is one thing, but like from a mental health capacity, like, I can imagine the most stressful thing sometimes not having basic necessities. You know, somewhere to live is like a basic, especially when you got kids. Or kids, do you know what I mean? It's like, having basic necessities is what we are all, as a person of the world, entitled to, you know? Like, it's there for everyone. Obviously, even though everyone's not getting that now, right? But in that sense, it's like, is he thinking what's happening in your mind on the other side? Probably not. Or is that how that's affecting you and the people around you, you know? And there's probably the case that this stuff's going on across the board. In probably some cases, a lot of a worse way. I mean, I've seen things on Facebook and, like, even just like living conditions that landlords keep in houses, and it's fucking scary. Like, it makes you think disgusting. Like, or not on my side, I've had a good experience when it comes to that side of things, you know? But I can't imagine, it must have been really stressful, man.
Yeah, he turned around to me and said, when I was asking him, like, what do you want me to do? He was like, I don't care, mate. He was like, go live in a van. I was like, you're taking a piss. I was like,
mate,
do you know what I mean? That's when I was like, look,
mate,
mate, you need to get out now before I call the police and that. And I spoke to my friend and he said, look, if you leave, because I was saying to him, I was like, look, I can't be asked to deal with this guy anymore. I just want to go. He's like, Flavs, if you leave, you're potentially making yourself homeless, and that's gonna affect the rest. Like, imagine what you decide to do now is gonna decide what's your life gonna be for the next 10, 15 years, or potentially for the rest of your life. So he was like, "Look, go change your locks the same day." I went because it's like I was saying to him, I was like, "Look, I can't even go to work without having peace of mind that no one's gonna go in the house." And like potentially change their locks, and then I ain't got away. Like I haven't got anywhere to go. He's like, go change the locks now because I have proof that he was in the house. Like before, when I was on the way, I called him. I was like, look, this happened. I think he might be in the house or he's there. He's like, before you get there, start recording.
Yeah.
Like put the phone in your pocket, recording, because if he even assaults you, do you know what I mean? Like there's proof that he was there or whether, or if things do go to court, sort of thing. There's some sort of proof that did happen, because most likely he'll just deny that he was in there. Do you know what I mean? So I recorded everything. I have everything on record, and he was like, "Go change the locks." I done that the same day. I went on YouTube, innit? I didn't know how to change it. I went on YouTube, looked up how to change the locks. Pretty simple.
I thought you got a locksmith.
Well, I can do it myself. I got all the tools.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
YouTube will tell you anything.
That is true. That is true. Obviously, I'm not the best with DIY.
And like money at the time is like Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Money at the time is tight, and over that period, I would have got someone in that day, sort of thing. Because I was like, I can't go to sleep.
They ain't cheap, mate. Locks.
Nah. And I've done it for a score.
I
bought the lock for a score.
Oh, that's calm.
Yeah,
do you know what? Like, I've been in a flat like coming to an end of tenancy, completely different reasons. Like it was a decision that I made at the time to leave, but like I get it. Like having nothing in the flat, like I was just the sofa and the telly on the floor. That was all that was left, and like it's shit, man. Like you don't even want to be there because it's just like it's empty, yeah. And then it's like fuck. Like for me, like I had to move back home and that, and I was thinking, oh, bro, this is like, what the fuck, mate? I'm going backwards. Do you know what I mean? But it had to happen. So the stress of doing all of that, and when they give you a date, like you got to be gone. I remember, like I come back, like I hadn't even moved out yet. I opened the door and there was a woman in there with two people viewing. All my shit was in there still. I was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Get out."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
They don't give you a heads up.
They have to.
They emailed me and I said no. I said, "Do it after this date because I want to get some stuff out first." Yeah. But they didn't. They just come in and mate, like
people don't give a fuck, innit?
Mate, they
like,
just
my face, mate, was like.
I can imagine.
Steve
coming out his ears.
Mate, fucking smoke coming out my ears, mate. But yeah, man, like they don't give a fuck. Look, it's all about money and it's all about the next thing, innit? So obviously, how are you now with everything?
I'm better. I feel like I've overcome that, and the things that I end up learning from it. Do you know what I mean? I had to look at it in the positive side. So if I ever get myself in that situation again, I know how to deal with things and don't have to stress myself out from him. Because like it's not, like you said, when you get a date, you're counting the days and you're like, fuck, I still ain't got nowhere to go. Like, what am I gonna do? So he's like, now knowing what I know now, I know how to deal with things differently. So, and I feel better, I can say, but still, like, you don't really know how things like that affects you. Do you know what I mean? Because you say you're alright, but really and truly, like,
it leaves something, doesn't it? Especially when it's like super stressful, yeah. Like it does leave a little strain in your head and things because it's like it's an impactful time, man. Especially around that period of the year as well. Like that's proper shit.
I end up not even seeing my little one because like I was just in such a down. Like in a really dark place, like like you said, like you have a few things laying around the house. You don't want to be there. It's Christmas time. No one is really out. Everyone is with their family, sort of thing. And I'm like, I didn't have my family to talk to around. They was all in Portugal. They were FaceTiming, and you don't really want to be a burden to your parents while they're away and that. Do you know what I mean? So, I was kind of like just putting like a smile face on while I'm on a camera, like on the phone, and just saying, yeah, I'm all right and that. Not really showing, like, kind of going into the kitchen somewhere where they can't see that the house is empty, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, it was, that's what hurt me the most. It was that I didn't get to have like a proper Christmas with my little one, and she was almost 2 at the time. She's already understanding the concept of Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Where I could have like my plans were to dress up like Santa and that, and then do you know what I mean, having her around, and I couldn't have her around the house when the house is empty. Do you know what I mean? It was just
horrible, man. It's horrible, mate. But like as you said, when these things happen, if it ever was to happen again, hopefully it doesn't. But for anyone watching this or us, like it's a lesson, isn't it?
Definitely.
To know that obviously you do have the rights and you can obviously seek legal support when these things do happen.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
But look on the bright side of it, because you don't even want to be giving your money to someone like that anyway.
Yeah,
mate. So he had a touch.
If people
for 15
think
years.
that they're not in control, because that's how I felt. I felt I wasn't in control of like what was happening. You actually are. Do you know what I mean? Like you're the only one who's actually in control of things. So like, I could have spoke to someone a bit earlier about it. Do you know what I mean? And reached out, and like when I found out that I had full control because I was in the house. Do you know what I mean? Like I could have dealt with things from the get-go straight like properly, and you know,
not everyone knows that knowledge. This is the thing. And when you're in there and it's like yo, I've got to be out of here. Like they
don't teach you that. Nah. It's one of them. Like, I'm not going to go on that subject, but there's something else they don't teach you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, mate. Like it's again, like I said, I wasn't aware of that, right? But I think like any circumstance, what I can say is like for me, when I've been in different scenarios in life, sometimes we act like kind of emotionally, do you know what I mean? And so like, probably similar to you in that circumstance, my first thought I would have been probably more worried than thinking, okay, now I need to go and educate myself on the subject, because that like no one likes being not in control of their own life. Do you know what I mean? Like outside of that, nothing's in your control really. Do you know what I mean? But your own life, in which that comes into, when someone else is trying to dictate that to you, that's never going to make you feel good. Do you know what I mean? And obviously the stressful situation that's there could have been avoided in a certain sense if he'd kind of acted a bit more human and people were educated on a wider basis to know how to, I guess, what they can do in that scenario moving forward. But obviously as well, like the thing that sticks in my head is just the fact that like 15 years, he knows he's got a little one as well at Christmas. I mean, like it's absolutely crazy. But what I would say as well, like good to speak to you about, I guess, the journey of having a little one. Obviously, we've been best mates for a long time. Like I know your little one. Obviously, I was going to say her name. I won't say it on here though. But unless I don't mind. Yeah, so little Melina then. Do you know what I mean? Am I the unofficial godfather? Maybe. That's what you said on holiday, mate. You heard it here first. But how's that journey been for you anyway, mate?
Do you know what? It's been mixed emotions. Like obviously when we first found out that we was gonna have a baby, she it was all excitement, right? And then you start thinking, money, house. You start getting a bit stressed. But it's been good, man. Like, and it's been teaching me a lot. Like, seeing her grow up and like kind of looking at her and thinking, at one point I was like that. So I mean, we all were. Do you know what I mean? And how like the human brain works, because when baby's first born, they don't even know they're out of the womb for the first, like, I think it's like a month or something.
For a month?
Something like that. It's like for a few weeks.
Where am I, mate?
They don't know. Like, they don't know that they're out of the womb. And going from that to now, she's walking around, she's talking. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what? She's talking English and she's talking Portuguese.
Is she?
Like, more English because obviously nursery and everything. And I try my best because obviously me and the mum ain't together. But so she spends a lot more time with the mum. The mum is English, so she's naturally going to be hearing English more often. Do you know what I mean? But she's still picking up, even though she's not spending as much time with me. I always try to talk to her in Portuguese. So I feel for her in the long run, it will be good for her to have that second language, even if, do you know what I mean? And
it's only a benefit, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
Obviously, family-wise as well, do you know what I mean? It's going to be good to be able to, and obviously when you take it to Portugal and stuff.
Yeah, and who knows, in the future, if she's fluent in Portuguese, she might decide she wants to go there on her own sort of thing, do you know what I mean? So it's always good. It's been a journey, man. And do you know what? People that have older kids than me, they said, look, mate, like, it only gets harder. Like, it's not going to get any easier, but yeah, it's been good. But then again, like, you do have those, like, for example, when we first broke up, like, for me was like not having, you know, you watch movies and you see the little kid running up to the dad after a day's work or whatever. Like for me, it was like
still gets me now, bro. Like with my own thing issues, like I'll see that. Now I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? But back in the day, like I'd watch a film, I'd turn it off. I'd be like that. It's like it's kind of sad to watch, and it comes back to that thing of like subconsciously, where it's like that's not something at the forefront, but sometimes it just touch a little nerve, you know.
No, for real, and not having that thinking. I'm never gonna have that because she's never gonna be like every day with me. Do you know what I mean? But you know, like we worked out, like we actually get along. Me and the mother would get like probably better along now than we did when we was together. To be honest, but no, it's good. Like we cracked on. I kind of got over it. That you know, that's life, and we had to think of the little one more so. Do you know what I mean? Because imagine us just trying to be together, arguing all the time. In the long run, that was going to be more like it would affected the little one more than us being split up and having that good relationship that we have now. Do you know what I mean? So
it's an adult decision to do that. Man. Like the benefit to your child and the happiness of your child is obviously going to always come first for both of you.
Exactly.
So you know, doing that, and from my point of view, like when you are with your child, like you're very proud dad, he is, isn't he? And you're a good dad, man. Like, do you know what I mean? You're both always laughing and things. So, like, it's good, man. Obviously, I don't have kids. I've got nieces and nephews, and like seeing them when they was like 1, 2. Now the oldest is 5, so yeah, it is gonna get old.
That's 5 now. That's quick. Isn't it?
Quick.
Do you know what? It feels like it was the other day she was born, man. Like it goes so quick. Like, and I look at pictures now when she was born, and I'm thinking. That felt like the other day because she was born on New Year's Day. So it's like having that happen, like my daughter being born on New Year's Day, to having to be kicked out around.
Oh mate, that's so
do you know
mad.
I mean? It's crazy how in 2 years life can change like that. Do you know what I mean? And
I didn't know that. That's a madness.
Yeah, man.
Oh mate, even worse, man. No, I really don't like this geezer.
And the thing is, he knew me since I was 10.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Nah.
That's crazy.
So you've seen you grow up as well.
Yeah.
This guy's an evil cunt.
It's not nice, man. The way that we try to say things is like people don't look out for people's mental health and don't look through the other glasses essentially, and people need to start doing that. Obviously that's what we're trying to promote, you know what I mean? And
especially men, I think that's why I can't, like, with what you guys are doing, I think is like very good, man. Like, trust me, because if you think about it, men, like, not taking any credit away from women, but like men, like think about it, like something goes wrong with your plumbing in the house. You're most likely going to get a man coming around the house, like a plumber is most likely to be a man. So like electricians, like, you know, what keeps the world going, like, not saying obviously women do have a input to it, a big input towards it, but like those jobs that keep like in like
buildings.
Building. Do you know what I mean? Without men.
One thing I will say though, it's just like, I have to throw this out there. Is like we look at the NHS, and that's something that's essential, and that's woman heavy. So that's why I've said that is the point that I feel like there's people like to say maybe I shouldn't say this, right? But there's people like to say that there's obviously certain jobs that, like, there's more men and there's more women in different jobs. It's true, but I think naturally, like for me, when I've been in mental health services, I've been more receptive to women, and I found like women have been like in that particular role as a counsellor has worked better with me. And like you're saying, there might be scenarios where an electrician who's a man might work better for that scenario, and it's not a thing to run away from where people work to their strengths, you know.
That's very true, you know. But I think like with the women's side of thing, working in NHS, I'm the same as well. Like, I've always found women to be easier to talk to in that sense. Until we started doing this, But I think it's more, I don't know, like, I think it's the voice and things as well. Do you get me? Because it's a bit more soothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you know, there are women engineers, and now it's getting more and more, which is good. Do you know what I mean? Everyone should be free to do what they want. Like, whatever tickles your fancy, go for it. But you're right there, because if you do want a plumber or you want a tradesman coming round, like I've worked in plumbing and heating firms and things, and customers have turned away a woman like
really,
like
that's fucking mad.
Yeah, because like a lot of people do feel like like you're taking a piss. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a geezer's gonna know what he's talking about, like, and actually you do it.
That's
but
mad.
really and truly, the geezer's probably gonna come in,
Yeah.
And then he's going to fucking sell you on more stuff anyway. Do you know what I mean? Should have took the bird, mate.
One thing, yeah, maybe. One thing I will say though is like people. What I found, right, because I work in tech and like there's a massive shortage of women in tech. And we've got, where I work, we've got a women in tech team that we're looking at getting people or women into technology, right? And what I found with some of like sometimes, and even myself in life, when I've got a job that maybe I felt like, or got in a place that was a bit of a, I felt maybe it was a bit of a stretch for myself, right? You feel more, what's the word? You feel more grateful to be in that circumstance. So it might be the case that it's like when you go somewhere and it's like you speak with someone new, you speak with someone who's been there for 20 years. Sometimes you might get the better service from someone that's new because they feel like, even though it shouldn't be that way, it shouldn't be the fact that women feel like they've been given a chance to go in there. I wouldn't be surprised if some women did feel like that because they have been prevented from getting in certain areas so far in terms of jobs. But the fact that someone would turn someone away, like from my perspective, you can do the job that I need someone to do. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't care, to be honest, innit? Probably just going to overlook the double check, though. No, I'm joking.
No, it's just what I was trying to say. It was more like, you see, like, high, like, life-risking jobs where most times men are doing it, but, like, you don't think of what that man is going through, do you know what I mean? And, like, it's people not, like,
people
so
are more
open.
considerate to I feel my perspective, to women's mental health.
Yeah.
In a sense. Like,
do you know what I mean? Not that women aren't, do you know what I mean? But it's just more like what men go through and doing those life-risking jobs and people not taking into consideration that he might be going through. And, you know, you see those big, tall electric poles, I don't know what they're called, but imagine working up there, you're going through mad things in your life. It's that easy just because, like, the suicide rate with men, do you know what I mean? Just to do some craziness. And do you know what I mean? I feel like there should be more of a conversation where men are doing...
100%.
It's just the expectation that there wouldn't be something wrong with you. I think it's like that. Just to rephrase what I said, I don't think it's the whole like thing that people care about like women's mental health more. That's not what I mean. I think it's just like people might be more open to, because if they saw like a woman who looked like she was unhappy, to being like, oh, are you okay? How are you feeling? And maybe a bit more receptive if it was like problems of the mind, let's say, whereas like people don't really come out and ask you that as a man.
It's a more standoffish point if you see a man who does look a bit like, you know, a bit down or can be a bit stressed and things like, all right, it may be, you're right, mate.
Yeah,
like it's more like, come on, you're right, like, yeah, liven up, but really and truly, most people look at it like, oh, do you know what? Probably not even going to say that.
Some people would even take the piss. That's why I've been in like a trades sort of environment. Like if you see someone that's upset, maybe their girlfriend left them or whatever, they'll probably take the piss. Do you know what I mean? Or I don't know. Like I feel like with men, I feel like we should open up more about our problems because, like I said earlier, I know it has nothing to do, but once I open up more about my problem, I start getting solutions, and a lot of the times that's not happening with men. Like we probably like being men, we have to like put that strong face on or whatever, but sometimes it's not the right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sorry, mate, go on.
With the risk-taking thing, which you were saying as well, yeah, it was funny. I was speaking to someone the other day, and it is about the testosterone in men as well. Men are actually more inclined to take bigger risks than women, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the suicide rates are so high, because a lot of men aren't really too fearful of the thought of dying. Now, for women, obviously, it's just a brain receptor in the head where it is a bit more off-putting. Like, women do commit suicide, obviously. You know, everyone's mental health matters, but men, when we get to that certain point, are probably 3-4 times more likely to actually take that step to do it without thinking about it. That's the thing, and that's the scary thing. So yeah, even if it is your bird leaving you,
I didn't know that. Like, that's interesting in a sense. Like, why do you think that would have been? Why do you think we're like that in the original sense? Like, in terms of like the difference between like us being open to taking more risks. I think I asked that question with an answer, to be honest with you, because I think don't answer too quickly, mate. Yeah, but I think it's because like probably back like we have the brains, like I think how, like we were speaking about the other day on our live with Jenna, who's a hypnotist. So I feel like back in the day, like obviously now it's slightly different. When we were like hunter gatherers, men would have had to go out hunting and probably had to take those risks or more risk. That's probably why we're structured like that. But I mean, times are different now, you know, and it's like obviously that's affecting us more men now in a not so good scenario, because I know for me, like even in my darkest times, like I always had that fear where it's just like I always kind of knew I couldn't follow through with things, which obviously is good, but obviously it's not the case for a lot of people. So I think kind of getting statements like that out to the public is a massive benefit, because then people can understand, or get to try to understand their minds a bit more.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of it comes genetically. Do you get me? Like a lot of from whoever was the first man thing. As you said, they had to take risk back then. Like people still go out hunting now. And women do it as well, yeah. But obviously,
a bit safer nowadays, though.
Yeah, a bit safer. Yeah,
a lot of lion gonna eat you from behind.
Yeah, you ain't got to get it in a headlock and that. But it is genetic, and like it's a sad truth that men are willing to take these risks a bit more. But whoever is taking these risks is sad enough, and obviously everyone's mental health matters, whether you're a woman or a man.
Yeah.
But with the whole Chaps Chat, which we are doing, is exactly what Flavio said. It is to take it a bit more serious when men are down, to spark that conversation, to let them know that someone's there, and to not just brush it off in a laddish way, like, oh, you get over it and think, yeah, you might do, but right now I'm going through it, so, a bit of support would be all right.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of men, you got to think, like, I've had those dark thoughts, do you know what I mean? But I have a daughter, then I kind of like popped into my head, and like I had to think not just of myself, do you know what I mean? But some men don't, like some men don't have anything to hang on to, sort of thing, and having someone like to, to come and talk to, or do you know what I mean? Just sometimes a call, do you know what I mean? And it's like, it was weird, a couple of times you called me, like where I was really down, and then you would call me like, and just having that little bit of a chat, like, helped out a lot, sort of thing. Like, it might
Boost
not,
you, innit?
yeah, like, kind of reassured you that, you know what, like, there's more to life, sort of thing. There's like you will overcome this. Like, nothing lasts forever, sort of thing. Like, nothing bad or nothing good will last forever. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to have someone to talk to, because when you feel alone, like you gotta think of these older people, like, when they're alone, like, most time loneliness is probably what gets to, do you know what I mean? Like, that's why they end up, because I have a few clients where, there was elderly people, and one of them would die, and the other one wouldn't last much longer, because
that's it, man.
Loneliness, do you know what I mean?
What they're living for, innit? It's gone,
no
man.
purpose, sort of thing. So, yeah.
Sad, isn't it, man? It's mad, actually, how things work, mate. I think once that happens, especially, like, if you might have been with your partner for 30, 40, 50 years, man. I mean, like, imagine losing that person.
My granddad was with my nan for over 50 years. He's still going strong now, mate, about 15, 20 years down the line, which is good stuff. But I know what you mean. It's like, you think, coming back to that kind of Christmas time where you experience something bad, like that Christmas time, I think is the worst for old people. And I think that's when you get a lot of, when they're on their own, and it's like, and sometimes you just notice from where you live, you see certain old people walking about sometimes, then you just don't see them anymore.
That shit makes me sad, though, isn't it? Like, that's actually horrible.
They've got Alton Towers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm only joking, but it's like, it's not good. What I would say, though, on the loneliest piece, right? Because I feel like we're quite detached as a generation now. Like, no one wants to talk to each other, all this and that. Well, most people anyway. Do you know what I mean? But what I think is, like, people need to come to terms and, like, yes, it's in a mental health scenario, like, you want to have people to talk to and stuff like that. But outside of that, like, it's cool to have independence. It's cool to, like, be good on your own. Like, I feel like, for me personally, so I feel like that's some people need to learn. Like, people don't need to learn to be their kind of themselves and be happy with that, and be that, like, you're enough for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, I feel like
love yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Preach it, bro.
Yeah.
but yeah, because I feel like I'm an only child. I know you're an only child as well. I feel like, I don't know, you might have a different perspective, but I feel like that's kind of bred that in me. Yeah. Whereas, like, I'll be honest, a lot of the time I kind of prefer some, like, time to myself, and because that's the only time you got, I guess, outside of work and stuff, to maybe action of things that you want to, and it's not everything that you want to do in your life that you need to bring someone else in to do it with you. Yeah. Obviously, some things, yes, like Chaps Chat, we're doing that together. A great idea, but you've got to hold some stuff to yourself as well,
Definitely, yeah. I do feel, I don't know, like, maybe when I was young, man, I always like to keep myself to myself, to be fair, for years.
If you want to call it that, like, no one really want to be pals with you, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you are, you might. But, yeah, I don't know, so, but I get it, like, obviously I've got a brother and sister, and, they're there if I need to talk, you get me? And as we got older, our bond is quite strong, which is good, especially since they both got kids now, which is nice. But, yeah, like, when I was younger, I don't know, maybe because I was smoking a bit of weed back then. So I'd sit in my room a lot.
It was you and I.
Yeah, that was it. Me and Mary, mate.
Yeah.
That was it. But like I was like that. But sometimes I'm still like that now. I do like to just chill on my own and things. Like, I don't know. I just like I like a bit quiet sometimes, man. And sometimes I feel a bit rude as well. Do you get me? Because like there is other people in my house, and it's like, oh shit. Some days I think, mate, that's it. I'm renting somewhere, bro. Like, I'm off, and then I think like.
See, I'm in that mode now, man. I want to not in a bad way. I just obviously we're not young. We're young, but we're at that sort of age now, obviously, where you just want to start having your own gaff.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously having we've both experienced living alone before, so when you've had that as well, you've had a taste of the good life, basically.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just kind of freedom wise as well, and also it's good to take yourself out of your comfort zone. That for me anyway. That's general. I think that's when you see some growth as well.
Yeah, it also makes you like a big step when you do it. Yeah. Because you're looking after yourself and things, and you're going back to your own home, and you're keeping it clean, and you're doing the cooking and all that, which is nice in a sense. You know what I mean? Because it gives you a lot more of a routine and things.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, man. I think it's obviously a big thing to do.
Well, you man ain't cooking your dinners now.
Yeah, but I don't mean that. I mean
I know this guy, but he's got it nice.
You know what? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I do. Do you know what? In the summer, I'll do it a lot of time. So when you get the barbecue,
buy some ham and make a sandwich or something like that.
No, barbecue. I like doing barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue. Yeah,
like
once a year.
Summertime.
But yeah, man, that's it. It's about independence, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? To be honest, with me, don't get it wrong, being only child, I do like being on my own, but it does get boring, man. It's nice that you're gonna go through it might be a year, it might be 2 months, it might be 6 months, whatever. You're gonna enjoy that being on your own, and do you know what? Yeah, this is nice. I can come home at what time I want, or I can do whatever I want.
That's the thing.
It's good, but then it gets to a point when you it'll be nice to come home and chat to someone. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you can have your room. For example, I got my mum to come live with me. Do you know what I mean? Because she was on her own, and I thought, you know what, it makes no sense being in a house and mum being renting elsewhere. I was like, mum, come live with me. Do you know what I mean? Because I would talk to her on the phone, and I felt like she felt lonely because she was renting out a room. Do you know what I mean? So she would go into that house, and then she would kind of have that little space that it was hers, and she couldn't go down to the kitchen without bumping into to someone that is not necessarily family or whatever. She couldn't invite her friends around to have tea or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, you know what, let me speak to mum, because she sometimes I could hear in her voice she was quite low. So I just, and ever since I did, man, it was better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I still have that freedom. I still can do whatever I want because I didn't. It's not like I'm living at mum's house now. Do you know what I mean? She's more living with me. Do you know what I mean? But it was nice because at the start it was just, I don't know. It got a bit sad almost, just coming home and not. Do you know what I mean? Not having someone to sit down, have your dinner with, and talk about how your day went.
It gets dead, mate.
It gets so dead.
It does get dead after a while.
Do you know
That
what I mean?
for me, when I was doing that, I'd go to the boozer, mate. I'd have to be around people.
Yeah.
Bro. I couldn't sit there all
It
night.
might just be me, mate. I'm thinking I'll go home now and just sit on my own dinner. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I don't know, because you got people in the house though, innit?
I could hear him through the door.
I mean, when you are in your own gaff, I don't know, man. It's and I'm not a big fan of sitting down and watching fucking program soaps.
There's
and
only
things
so
on the
many
telly,
you can
bro.
watch though.
Yeah, man.
Do you know what I mean? It'll get to a
TV's
point.
dead, innit?
It's dead. I like being out quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? After work, it's different, right? You can chill and things. But come a weekend when you're up early on a Saturday and there's no one, and it's what am I doing today?
You try livening yourself up, putting a bit of music on, and try and make yourself feel
Have
better. Then you're it doesn't work. You're calling someone
Have
and
a
you're
beer.
leaving.
It's
Do you know what I mean?
what's happening? Yeah. Gets like that, man.
Literally. I think for me, spare time you just need something to do. Like that's literally it. Like outside, like watching TV and that. Unless you're like watching something that you're learning from. Like if you're watching something that you actually is gonna help you, then that's good. And don't get me wrong. Like I'm not saying I don't watch no TV. Like I watch a decent bit, to be honest with you. But it's like if you are kind of in that place, and like I can imagine that someone who is feeling lonely, but it's just sitting there not really doing much, it's probably gonna make that worse. So I think we obviously all saw a lot of that in COVID. Obviously I was lucky I was still working, but a lot of people weren't working, and I think it's like when you're left to your own devices. The reason is, from my perspective, people just go into their thoughts like when they're on their own, where it's just like cause it's quite hard to be like fully present and outside of your thoughts. So, but obviously you can know if you think for so long, it's like anything. It's like you're probably going to think something bad eventually, and then if you're on your own and not doing anything, you have more time to dwell on those thoughts as well.
Yeah, that's it. So I think, do you know what? At the minute, I'm not going to lie, my screen time is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. TikTok.
With the phone or the TV?
Phone,
Why are you on TikTok, mate?
Mate.
You know you're getting hacked. You're getting hacked by Xi-Jinping, 100%. 100%. Have you been ordering more Chinese takeaways recently?
Oh, mate, trust me, mate. I'm doing it too much, bro. I need to delete the app, mate. I think, like, fucking hell, I'm 26, yeah, and I go on it because it's a laugh sometimes. Some of the videos are jokes, but, like, if you're young in that, these kids must be on it all day, mate.
My little one, she knows how to skip on YouTube. She knows how to find YouTube on my phone, no lie. Yeah. I swear to God, she knows what it looks like. And she's 2 years old. She can barely speak, but she knows how to use a phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
they know that's where the entertainment is, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it's mad though, mate. Because I remember even do you remember when we went to watch the fireworks?
Yeah.
And I remember when the fireworks were going off, she was just there looking at your phone, like the main ones and that, like just watching something. This Peppa Pig in it, I think that's the thing,
Baby Shark and all of that. I know all the songs now.
Yeah.
Nah.
Go on, sing the
No, but do you know what? It's good with like, but I feel like people use like, because for example, I'm not gonna lie, I do if I want to go for a meal and I want to bring the little one around. She'll be good to a certain point because then kids get bored really quick, sort of things, and sometimes it's easier to just put something on the phone, keep them.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people do use that a bit too much. Do you know what I mean? And like, because I remember when we was kids, like, we didn't have that. We would go outside, play football.
Down the park and that.
Do you know what I mean?
What about your pals from the park? Like, what about them? Do you know what I mean? Where are they at now in life?
No, they're on the PlayStation. That's where their friends are.
They literally just talk on the PlayStation, innit?
Rather than playing FIFA, rather than actually playing football.
Like, innit? Do you know what I mean?
I reckon that's only getting worse as well.
It is.
Yeah, man.
And it's down to like parents really, because do you know what I mean? Like they
Screen
have to.
time, innit?
Yeah,
like, you do have to limit that, man. And like giving kids social media and things, like I don't know, but everyone's different. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like there's got to be a certain age that you go on social media. Like, I think fucking
but how?
12 and that's
do you know what?
Young.
But it's just so hard to control that because. Like,
nah, it's not, mate. You get one of them little £20 Nokias.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but they ain't having that.
Just your number on it.
Number. They're not having that because I'm pretty sure you used this back in your day. Oh, but my friend has got this.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And you don't want them to feel like
that.
So like, it comes down to that, and you don't want to make your child feel like they not keeping up, sort of thing. So it is hard to balance things off, but it's just. You have to try and, do you know what I mean? And saying, okay, you can have the phone for this long if you go outside for this long, sort of thing. It's easier said than done, but it's just finding like a middle ground, and it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it is difficult because a lot of times it is easier, and do you know what I mean? And you just want to have those 2 minutes to do your washing, and do you know what I mean? And just
chill time.
Here,
as well.
do you know what I mean? And they'll just sit there for a little bit or whatever.
Also, like the world around us is just becoming more technological as well. So it's not like anywhere else they're saying like steady on. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's going full pace. I mean, like some of the stuff they're doing with like artificial intelligence and that, and they're like looking down the line to like put chips in people, and then people don't have their phone, like everything's in you. And like for me, like, and we're not far off that. Like just for everyone, they've probably done it already.
They've done it with the vaccine.
Yeah, it's in you. Fucking might be. You know? I don't know. I'm all good anyway. But like Elon Musk, that's one of his companies, Neuralink, and that's what they're aiming to do. And like for me, I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not for that stuff. Like
he was talking about you could reverse aging and stuff like that with the right amount of DNA and stuff like that.
I don't want to say no now. Do you know what I mean? Like down the line, you
Yeah,
might
maybe,
hit
yeah,
60.
50
Well,
years.
send me back to 26 private life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was saying it's possible with our technology now, but it's just
If
having
it's
to.
gonna happen, he's definitely gonna be involved somewhere with it, man. Mate, the technology is so advanced that these people actually have, and like in armies and things, mate. Yeah, it's like crazy NASA and that, bro. This technology is super high tech, and it's like that ain't even been brought to public yet. Do you get
They
me?
got bare shit they're not releasing to us.
Bare
now.
shit.
Where is it?
In it.
Tell me. Do you know what I mean?
They say
they're gonna tell me
yeah.
of all people. Do you know what I mean? I want to know.
They say that, like, imagine the army will get the technology, and only like 10 years later it will be released to the public.
Yeah.
So you could think, like, if we got this now, how far ahead are they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
mate. They might have like spaceships and that.
They got the money to experiment with it all.
Oh
innit?
yeah,
So
because
that's
it's all
the
our
thing.
money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like
Exactly.
in America alone, they have they call it the black budget. Yeah, and that's basically like the money that's spent on like military stuff that's under the cover. Do you know how much they spend on that a year? I think it's like three trillion or something like that. Come on, mate.
it's crazy as well to do with, like, going back to the mental health, like, because see social media and that, like, it makes people feel a type of way.
Yeah.
Because they see in these people posting private jets and all of that, and then it makes people that they need to catch up. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been that person.
Everyone gets sucked into it.
I mean, I've been that
definitely.
person where it was like, oh shit, like I could do, I want that.
Yeah.
I could deal with that.
Do you know
I
what I
could
mean?
do one of them private jets.
Like, do you know what I mean? And it makes you, because you're seeing people our age doing that sort of thing. Like, if you think back to like 99 or whatever, back in the 2000s, like, people our age, it wasn't so common to have
Well, you
like
couldn't see it.
millionaires. Well,
You couldn't see it because it wasn't posted everywhere.
True.
But maybe these things were like I'd imagine those things were still.
I
going
don't
on
think
then,
it was so common for someone our age to have all those millions.
Potentially.
You got to think.
what they're
it's-
making money with now.
Yeah.
The internet.
It's-
Yeah,
it's
I
So
know,
it's
you,
yeah.
you
social
can
media.
be gaming and earning money.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy because it's affecting people's mental health as well with that, like, making yourself like you're not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And everyone is trying to compete. Because you think about like Instagram, you like it's all about showing.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because it's all about that, and you know, maybe with using like you guys are doing, using the Instagram to post up things like this, like that, I feel like that's what those networks are there for, like that, for what that app is meant
should
to
be like educational purposes
yeah,
more
more so than
than showing off.
yeah.
And it is that, man. Everyone is trying to get one up on each other on Instagram and things. Like, to be honest with me, I don't really give a shit about it. Like, I'll post what I want on mine, innit? Like, if you don't want to watch it, then you ain't got to. Like,
That's it.
and to be fair, I've only got people who like I actually know on mine, yeah. But like, you look at like these influencers with millions and millions of people, and it's like, what they're posting shit, mate. You know?
Yeah.
Like just shit, and it is to make you feel like my life is better than yours. Do you get me?
Yeah.
They thrive off that,
Yeah,
man. Of
man.
like having the million people watching, thinking,
Yeah, yeah.
like I'm following your whole journey, like
Yeah.
potentially for the rest of your life because it's posted online.
Yeah.
Like they love that shit.
Yeah.
Listen, imagine you doing like you just any person, so, like you doing it. You got on Love Island now. You got like 1 million people following you, and you're feeling like, oh no, like they want to see my
Yeah.
life, all this and that. Nah.
And some people, don't get it wrong, some people do use it for good
For
purposes.
good, yeah,
of
you know what I
course,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's good to see that, but you see a lot more of the other side. I mean, of people like just got this car, got this house, got this, got that, and a lot of the times you'd be surprised that it's not even their stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you came across that video where they look like they're in a private plane, and then they stand up and it's just a room
Yeah,
like
so,
this.
yeah.
But it looks like a plane. Do you know what I
You
mean?
see the
So-
one when the geezer's like that, he's like, yeah, just got the new whip, and he's holding like the seat on the bus.
So like like that sort of thing, like, and you wouldn't even think that it was fake or whatever, and it does make people think that they're not good enough, and you know, it's getting, I feel like, younger and younger people that are like suiciding. Do you know what I mean? It's getting younger and younger, and I feel like that's got a lot to do with it. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. And what people do need to remember 100% is Instagram only captures the best moments in people's lives. you
Yeah.
know? Everyone lives their own life outside of social media as well. And obviously, as we all know, people do go through shit. No matter who you are, you're going to go through shit at some point. And you got to remember, Instagram's not real.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah,
isn't,
yeah.
man. Like, it's not you can't on it. It's not like sitting down and having a conversation with someone, actually get like knowing someone.
Yeah.
And like knowing, you find out more about their actual life in person with
Trust
5-minute
me,
conversation than you would off Instagram, because it's just all
100%.
bullshit. you get me?
Yeah.
Like you'll buy a nice outfit, you'll go to a nice place, but you know, you might post a lot of that. But like, it might only be once a month, and people think, right, like this guy's balling, bro.
Yeah.
Really, like we might just be in a 9 to 5 and just bought a nice outfit and goes out once a month.
Yeah, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like.
Yeah. Plus, enjoy the moment. Like, if you're there, you're doing it. Like, you obviously clearly paid a lot of dough with it. Like, enjoy the moment for yourself. It's not for everyone else. Like, do you know what I mean? Well, you worked for everyone else to go and show it to us.
Yeah,
You know
it's true, man.
Like, bro.
I was saying a thing like on Instagram story yesterday about like memories and stuff, man. They are important. Do you know what I mean? And to say like you've seen it through your own eyes and you've done it, it's like I think it's shit that no one else can fucking experience, innit? Like it's tailored to you. So I think that's so much more important. Like I post whatever, to be honest, mate.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I don't really care, man.
Nah, that's
it.
it. I mean, do you know what? Before, like now, I could probably still do it. Don't get me wrong. Before we did this, like probably like once a month or like once every couple of months, I just turn it off for a week or 2 weeks. Like I just go without it. And it's like you find yourself, you don't even really think to look at it. So it's like, but like I think the average for people on Instagram, like across the board, is like 7 hours. Like people look at it 7 hours a day, which is crazy. That's a lot of time. Like I'm not great at maths, but like add that up across a year. Like, and how many days have you lost? How many months have you lost? You know what I mean? Like it will be months. Like, that's mad.
Thousands of hours, mate.
Crazy.
Thousands of hours.
It's good for business.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like this isn't the case of like just there's nothing at all that's good with it, because I know you promote your business on there, don't you?
Yeah. I use it a lot. Not as much as I should have, but being like, I've got a business, but I've got to be the owner. I've got to be the manager. I've got to be the accountant. I've got to be like all of these things, and it takes a lot of time for me. And you know, it can also, having our own business can create stress, like a lot of the times, and the amount of times that people have tried to like not pay me and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So having a business is not the easiest thing, but you can use those sort of you know, platforms to expose a bit.
If
but
you've
then
got time.
Exactly.
You're busy, innit, man?
It's difficult to balance it out.
Someone who's actually like, out there doing something is a little bit. It's more different. Like someone who's maybe like sitting in an office and they're just able to like, do that alongside sort of thing, you know. But definitely, I would say even for what you do is like for gardening stuff like that. There's definitely still a good place to promote it. And
100%. And like I've since I started using it a bit more, I did get more work coming back from using those platforms. Do you know what I mean? So it is good. Something you do get a lot of, you know, time wasters. Do you know what I mean? But that's business. Do you know what I mean? You have to put yourself out there, and you start picking up like the time for people that are actually serious about it. And you know, and you sometimes you'd be surprised. The other day I went to price a job, and I thought, when I left, I thought, nah, fuck, came here for nothing. Like, and it was like half an hour drive to get there. I was like, I just wasted all this money on petty, you know. So, I was like,
You got to though, innit?
And then he was proper like, can I get a quote? Like proper. I was like, okay, done the quote for him. So you know, I came through. And it was like sometimes you think you know it, do you know what I mean? But it end up working well, and it's just about taking that risk of going to have a look, and you never really know what.
Yeah, that's part of the job though, isn't it? It's like mate, like like in my job, like we might speak to a company, but I don't know definitely at that point they're going to use us to recruit through. I know, but it's like you have to put yourself out there first if you want to get a bit right. And it's like the more like just for anything, like it's like in terms of business, like if you're selling something, sales is a numbers game. So the more prospective clients you have, the more you will sell. So the more of those types of things you can get when you're not sure. It might be a bit time consuming, but it's probably going to work out better for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely. I wanted to go on to subject that we was talking about earlier. Obviously, one that's close to you.
Yeah.
You know, talking about families, and obviously you got your little one, and you're a dad yourself. I know there was something that happened to your dad.
Yeah. So, think I was. I'm not too sure how old I was, but dad had a heart attack. And he had to have a heart valve replacement, which meant open heart surgery, which are a lot of risk. He was 45, out there to say, maybe a bit older. So quite young, but being such a high risk surgery, and he had the choice to either go with a mechanical one or go with like an animal skin or animal tissue valve, which meant after 15 years he would have to have that replaced, which means you can imagine, let's say 45 years old, 15 years later on, it's only going to be higher risk. Do you know what I mean? So he decided to go with the mechanical one, which means he never has to replace it, but he has to take warfarin for the rest of his life, which warfarin is blood thinners.
Right.
So which now if he cuts himself, for example, he has to be very careful because the bleeding is just, even if it's a small cut,
he'll just keep running.
He'll just keep running because it's thinner. But yeah, he had a heart attack, and I must have been. I'm not too sure how old now. It feels like yesterday, to be honest. But
must have been early 20s, I would say.
I think so. 20, 21, maybe even 19 out there to say. So for a whole year, well, ever since then, he never really was the same again. So I had, from like the age of, like, let's say 19, I had to be like the man in the house. Because he wasn't able to work because he was out of, like, he couldn't barely move for like six months. He had to be very still, could barely, because they're cutting up your ribs. You know what I mean? And it was down to me to make sure that bills were paid, which was at such a young age. Like, I feel like now I look back and it's benefited me.
Yeah.
So like, I got that adult life early on in my life, sort of thing. But it was really tough, man, especially for mum. Like, just seeing mum, I would just come home from work and I just see her crying around the house, like doing, like cleaning or whatever, and she's just crying, and it was tough, like, cause I didn't know how to do any better, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know how else I could help but being at work, so that meant I was away from the house a lot more, do you know what I mean, than sitting at home speaking to mum, not having any brothers or sisters to kind of like, okay, dad needs to go to the doctor. So I had to balance a lot of things at such a young age, and I don't know, that kind of took a heavy hit on me.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and then shortly after, they end up getting divorced, which again, like, usually you hear stories where people get, their parents are split up when they're young, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And I must have been 21, so it was like, it was
difficult,
I don't know,
time. Bloody hell, man. Sorry to hear all that as well, but the heart attack thing, like, in his 40s, man, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you think about it, jeez. But obviously, how's he doing now?
He's doing all right now. He's doing all right. He's enjoying the sun now. He's moved back to Portugal because after that he wasn't the same at work. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't do as much as he used to do, and I think that for him as well wasn't nice to feel like you're not useful anymore, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And he just wanted to go back home and, I don't know, just have a different lifestyle. I guess more of a chilled one.
100%.
And but yeah, no, he's doing all right. It took him years though to get used to that he wasn't the same man. Because if you've met my dad, like, he was like that geezer. Do you know what I mean? Like, he would be up for a drink and that. I was talking about his young days where he was a bit of a, like, the boy. Do you know what I mean? And going from that to being someone that you can't drink anymore, sort of thing. He still does, but not as. Do you know what I mean? He has to be very careful. Even with the eating, he has to be careful because there's some vegetables that he can, like vegetables, fruit. He has to be careful how much he eats. Not that he can't eat them, but how much that he eats, because it would have effect on the blood. So some
like blood sugar and stuff like that.
Well, more darker green vegetables, apparently they thin out your blood a little bit, and because he's already taking the warfarin, if he takes too much, he'll be too thin. So, like, he could potentially like something bad happen to him. Do you know what I mean? So.
Wow, man, it's obviously a fucking massive life-changing thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think he would be the same after that. Like, of course, you've got to be obviously extremely careful for one, and but I'm glad that, in a sense, that he's back in the sun, man. Because your dad was born in Portugal.
Yeah. He was born in
so
Portugal.
like back home, innit? Do you know what I mean? It probably has given him a sense of more relaxation.
And just being around family, because you gotta think, like, it. Once they're split up, it never felt like family anymore. Even though I was there and I tried doing my best, but then I have my family now to think about as well. Not not that I don't want to spend time with my dad, but I have to think about my daughter now more so. Do you know what I mean? And just losing that sense of family for him, and obviously my nan and everyone is back home, so going back to having some sort of like family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It'll be good.
It was good for him. I can see he's, because, you know, me and him used to fall out all the time because he was just angry all the time. And then I was going through my thing. So instead of talking out, we'll just end up arguing over some dumb stuff as well. So, you know, him being back home, I think it helped him a lot, man. And even for me, because now, like, now we have good conversations. Even though he's there, we're actually talking about nice things, not arguing. Do you know what I mean? So that, for me, it was good that I was now back to be good with my dad, because, you know, you have that stress and then having to come home and you're falling out with that person that is you're meant to be good with. Do you know what I mean? It don't help. So
no, it's not nice, man. It's like them relationships there are supposed to be strong, aren't they? And when they're not strong, like, it is shit. So if it helped the both of you and sort of got your relationship back to like father and son, that bond, and you're having these good conversations, then obviously definitely it's a good thing. 100%. And plus you go to Portugal quite
I haven't
as much
been
as you
though
can.
for 3 years now.
Have you not? Well, obviously with COVID.
Actually, COVID. So I went before my little one was born. So yeah, but I couldn't. Yeah, so 2 years. Sorry.
Quite a while, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Go back this year.
Yeah, so it will be 3. Yeah, 2 years. Gone on.
You went. Oh, that's Madeira, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's.
It's the same.
Yeah, but I only went.
Say not Portugal. You there last year, mate?
Family, like.
I was like, I'm sure
Don't be coming in here telling lies, bro.
Nah. No, but like to like hometown, I haven't been.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hometown, I haven't been, and I went to Madeira for like 5 days.
You could be there for a minute, mate. Like, it's still there, isn't it? It's in Portugal, bruv. So.
And do you know what? I'd done that because I needed to get away.
Yeah.
Like, I went there, I needed to get away from everything. I had a lot going on, and I thought, let me just take myself out of like the problem, not running away from problems, but like give me some breathing time. Go, because over there no one knows me.
Get your head straight.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no one knows me. I was just like walking around, you know, just kind of having some time to think for myself, sort of thing. Because when you're around, you know, running my own business, you barely have time for yourself. Like, there's always someone ringing you about their fucking shit. Like, and you know what I mean? And you forget that you have your own life as well, and you kind of brush off your problems to the side. You keep brushing, and then what happens is you just go boom.
Yeah, it compounds up.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You just drop such like rapid as well. Like, you go, and for me, what a way of like not running, like to avoid it or to numb it out, it turned to drinking, man. Like really like bad, like, and you know, sometimes having someone you can talk to pull you out of that is what you need, because you know you start not caring about things and you start drinking like a madman to not to numb it, but like
just to block it out.
It's just to block it out, really.
It's literally the way that I find it when drink gets involved like that is to just completely take your mind off it. Yeah, because it actually does. It takes your mind off it
for a minute.
For that period of when you're drunk, but as soon as you wake back up, it's even worse.
Yeah,
and that's why for me, anyways, you wake up, that comes back, and what happens is, bang, you drink again, and you drink again, and you know, like, it's been a journey, but I am still like, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I'm cured, or do you know what I mean? But having someone to talk to helps a lot, and I feel like people need to understand that you know, talking sometimes is the best like cure, anyways. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Just try it. Like, it's not gonna hurt. You know what I mean? Like, try it. Just talking to someone who's close to you. Like, if it doesn't work for you, then that's fine. But you need to try things if you are going through shit. So something's got to help, and it's like you have to start to help yourself first, mate. But
and if it's definitely not someone who's close to you, there's loads of things.
Sometimes talking to someone you don't know helps a lot more.
Yeah.
Because now you don't feel like you need to hold back. Because sometimes, speaking from my experience, sometimes you don't want to tell people, you know, completely how you feel or what's really happening with your life. Because sometimes, like, talking about your life, it's not easy to like share your problems. You know what I mean? And speaking to someone you don't know a lot of times is easier because you think they don't know.
There's no ties there.
Yeah, that doesn't change your life at all. Like no one's going to look at you different, sort of thing. And like, so like, yeah, you are right, mate. And there's definitely some good things or good services that you can get out there in regards to that. Like, Talk to Frank's the one that comes to head. To mind, sorry, but I can't remember any others. I'm not too sure if there's any you can throw out there, mate.
What for drink?
Just in general, like just for someone to talk to. Like I'm sure Mind's got a service. And stuff as
Mind's got services. You've always got the Alcohol Anonymous meetings and things. You can talk to them. They even do it online. So if you are going through that and you feel the drink is taking you a little bit further, literally they're based all over the country. So you can even join in on Zoom and you ain't even got to put your camera on. So there's things like that out there. Obviously, our advice is to speak to someone who you are close to if you are going through a really critical time. Just reach out and obviously let them know what you're going through, and then they can point you and help you in that direction of getting the further help. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then reach out to me and Dominic on Chaps Chat, and we can point you in that direction.
I was going to say that. I was going to say Chaps Chat is a good one.
Yeah, definitely. No, like reach out to us. Obviously, we're not mental health professionals, but we're quite compassionate individuals that have been through shit ourselves. So always happy to have a conversation. But yeah. Well, this has been a really good episode. You know what I mean? Like, I've definitely had a laugh, and it's definitely gained a little bit more insight into one of my best pals. Someone I thought I know pretty well. So yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been great having you. So,
keep going, man. You're like doing nice, man.
Yeah, we
appreciate it. Yeah, it's been good to have you, though, man. Feel like I know you a bit better now as well, innit? It's good.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys. This has been Chaps Chat with me, Dom.
Me, Ollie.
Me, Flavs.
We'll catch you next time.